Okay, folks, Capt Buster of Bubba Roundtree Outdoors got another teachable moment for you. You know, sometimes we have to be real careful, especially in the medical field, whenever we're giving instructions or telling somebody what's happening and all, and the doctor gives you a answer to what you were asking. You need to be real clear whenever you talk. There was this lady, I won't call her name, let's just give her a name. I'm going to call her Miss Margaret. She had a cat, big old tomcat. She called him Sir Richard, big cat. And Miss Margaret, she was that person, you know, every small town, I won't call the name of the town, but every small town has one of these there. She's the one that you call if you need to know somebody's name that used to live in that brick house on the corner of such and such a street. She always knew. She was the one. She was sort of like a historian too, and if you needed to know anything about the town, you would call her, and everybody in the town loves her. So anyway, Miss Margaret's big old cat, Sir Richard, got constipated. I think he swallowed one of them mouse backwards, and the hairs got hung in there, and he got constipated. So anyway, she called the vet, and everybody knew Miss Margaret. And she said, "Doctor," she said, "my cat has gotten constipated. I need to know what I can give him for constipation." She said, "In fact, I'll come by there and get it if you'll get it out." So he told her, he said, "Miss Margaret, there's no need to come by here." He says, "I'll call in at the drugstore and get them to lay you out what you need, and then you can just do it yourself." She said, "Okay, doctor." So anyway, she went by and she got it. Well, the next day, the vet got to thinking about it, and he says, "I believe I'll call Miss Margaret and just check up on her," because like I say, everybody just loved her. So he called her and he says, "Miss Margaret, this is vet so-and-so." He said, "I was just calling to see how your calf was doing." Calf, C-A-L-F. She said, "Doctor, I didn't call about a calf. I called about my cat." He says, "Oh Lord, you know, back in those days, a lot of people that had a little bit of property, they'd get them a young cow, a calf, and they would raise it and then butcher it and put it in the freezer." He says, "Cat." He says, I gave them instructions to give you a laxative for a calf, C-A-L-F. He says, "What did you do?" She says, "Well, doctor," she said, "it was a chore." She says, "But them were some big old capsules." And she says, "I had to soak them in mineral oil and then stuff them down Sir Richard's throat." But she says, "I got every one of them in there." He says, "My Lord," says, "you gave," she said, "Yeah, I had to put on a pair of gloves that he was scratching me." But she says, "I got every one of them in him." He said, "Well, what's going on now?" She said, "Well," she says, "I put him in the yard last night." And says all night long he was there, "Meow, wow," and said he called up 5 of his buddies that live up and down the street, and said he had 5 buddies out there with him. He said, "Well, what's happening now?" She looked out there. She says, "Well, hold on." She looked. She said, "Well, all 5 buddies are still out there." And the vet said, "Well, what are they doing? What are they doing?" She said, "Well, hold on just a minute." And she looked back out the window, and she goes, she picked the phone up. She said, "Well, doctor, as near as I can tell, he's got 2 digging, 2 covering up, and 1 hunting new territory." She said, "There's some busy cats in that backyard." So, a teachable moment here. Whenever you're talking to a doctor or a vet, because I know what it's like. I raised a I used to keep a whole pack of deer hounds. Make it clear what you're talking about, or they might mistake you saying cat and they think you saying calf. Sir Richard was a big cat. He probably weighed 15 to 20 pounds. Now, I don't know how truthful this is, but I heard when he got through, he weighed 1.25 pounds. Teachable moment.